All right, there we go. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, probably wondering why is Dom messing with his hair? I forgot to put my ponytail up this morning. Uh, so, so yeah, there is a singular thing that I care about the most in this TWAB, um, and that is Wish Ender.
There's a lot
There's
of
a
really good things in this.
there's a lot of phenomenal things in this TWAB. But before we get into that, um, Dani, how are you doing today, and how has your week been so far / weekend?
It it has been really good, honestly.
You got
Got to
anything?
relax.
You got anything planned for streams or YouTube this week?
I do have a few streams this week, and that's about it. Nothing too far out of the ordinary.
Anything that you're going to be streaming that you're very excited about to stream?
Uh, Continuing Xenoblade this week.
Doing it with Faye, right?
Yep.
Uh, I just every time I see Xenoblade, I'm just like, damn, I really want to play, and then I realize, oh
It's
fuck,
only on the Switch.
yeah. Though to be fair, one of my coworkers is selling a Switch to me for $250.
Oh,
Yeah, like basically brand new. She's played it like only a handful of times, so I'm really tempted uh to snag it off of her, because I feel like, Dani, that at some point you and I could totally do a fuck it, let's just dick around on a random Sunday and play like Smash Brothers. Because I feel like that would be super fun.
it is pretty good.
All right, I'm gonna need you fucks to stop and chat like right now. God damn. Jesus. You mean my hair? Bro, this widow's peak could cut your throat, Buddha. Stop it. Bro, I could pierce diamonds with this widow's peak. You leave my hairline alone, Buddha. Mm. How about you trim that jungle of a beard, you so-called facial hair? But anyways, yeah, I am. Oh God, Dani, I'm very excited for this TWAB. There's so much stuff in this TWAB that is so good. Jesus. What up, Cryptic? What up? What up? Oh God.
I knew they were just basically teasing us with the past few since they were both
You did.
PvP.
You did call it last week. You did call it saying next TWAB is going to be something very special. Oof. Got that LeBron James and Kevin Durant hairline? Yeah, that just means I'm goated. What do you mean? Buddha, I'll play as Kirby so I can suck Dani off the map. Oh my god. Now I feel like Buddha would be more of a King K. Rool kind of player. Playing the King Croc. Oh man. All right. Well,
Uh-huh.
Dani, we've got a lot to cover. So you ready to hop into the TWAB?
Yep.
Oh God. All right. Um, let's hop right into this. So there is a lot to go over here. Oh God. All right. So the TWAB from the 11th. It is Sandbox Updates. So these are. Can you please? So Dani, I'm not actually like completely certain of like what exactly a Sandbox update is, because again, still getting new to the Bungie twabs. So,
Yeah.
would you please mind explaining exactly what a Sandbox update is?
Sandbox update is basically just an update where they tweak the numbers and the general aspects of the game. Like
Okay.
basically quality of life.
Okay. Now for these sandbox updates, will these be going live today or will they only be in season 18?
I'm assuming they're going to be season 18.
Okay. So I guess we'll have to read and take a look at that. So, first things first. Happy Twab's Day, Guardians. First off, how is it already the second week in August? Secondly, how are we almost to the next season? Good news is you still have time to wrap up your seasonal title. I am only missing one more triumph, and think about what you are going to wear for Arc 3.0. I can't choose between Geomag Stabilizers and Crown of Tempests. But sound off on socials and let us know what you're trying out first. Okay, so the person writing the TWAB, Sam, is a Warlock player. So, nice to see. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So, weapons and things. Jumping into the weapons sandbox. Hello, everyone. Mercule's here. We moved a good bit of the balance changes from Season 18 forward to the mid-season patch of Season 17, so this will be a bit lighter of a weapon sandbox TWAB than normal. That being said, there are still some changes we're really excited about, so let's dive in. TLDR buffed some underutilized weapon archetypes. Scout rifles and heavy grenade launchers got a buff. I'm actually going to zoom in just a little bit here, so that way chat can kind of read that. Scout rifles and grenade launchers got buffed in PvE. I understand the scout rifles, but I'm very interested in the fact that they buffed heavy grenade launchers.
They were not being used at all against bosses. They had like a negative usage rate.
Jesus. They are buffing high impact auto rifles. They're buffing lightweight bows. They also buffed multiple perks, fixed some bugs perks, and updated some perk descriptions to be a little bit more accurate. They also buffed multiple exotic weapons. And with that, they added intrinsic anti-champion functionality to some of them, which we'll be covering soon. They also reworked a couple of exotic weapons whose functionality was causing issues. We'll also see that. Along with that, they also updated the perk pools for Dares of Eternity weapons, and they gave them a new origin trait. So that's exciting. That actually gives players even more of a reason to actually go into Dares still and play Dares. Because again, Dares of Eternity was the free game mode that came out with the Bungie 30th anniversary. And it's honestly a fun game. Like, it's a really fun game mode. You do not have to have 6 people to play it. Like, it makes it easier, yes, but you can run a 3-man squad. It's basically just a mini. It's basically like, God, how do I even describe it?
It's like how the Menagerie was, but
better.
9, the 9 theme.
Yeah,
it's faster.
Yeah. Hashtag it's not Gambit. Also agreed. So, going into the global changes, we fixed an issue introduced in the 30th anniversary update that caused too much heavy ammo to drop when running double special weapons. That's interesting. Didn't know that was a thing. Several weapon stats were previously hidden, which made fully evaluating weapons difficult. With that being said, they also included airborne effectiveness, recoil direction, zoom, and aim assist are now visible in the weapon inspection screen. That is really nice.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal. I love that. That's super cool. That's awesome. So that's nice to see. So now you can actually kind of like really go into hardcore statistics. Dani, would you like to go into what they buffed about the weapon archetypes and just kind of go through them one by one?
This one is fun. They start with the scout rifles, which, they felt they could still use a bit more love in PvE. Yes, they could. They're really bad. Still. So they've increased the damage of all scout rifles against minor enemies by 10%. Maybe one-shots now. Maybe.
And this is very important because it's in addition to the baseline damage buff that was introduced in the Solstice balance patch. So that's on top of the buff. So it's technically... Scouts technically got double buffed.
Which, honestly, they needed it in PvE, because they were kind of dead.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
that's nice.
this is to all scouts too. So, which also includes exotic scouts, correct?
I believe so.
Uh, damn, I'm really gonna have to break out Polaris Lance, again this season. So that's exciting. Also, Night Watch is gonna always be good. Um,
Yes.
this is technically a damage buff to Dead Man's Tail.
We'll get to that in a little bit.
All right, moving on to the auto rifles, Danny.
Yeah, the high impacts, which yeah, they're pretty bad. The good damage but low ease of use, so they have adjusted them a tiny bit to give them just a little bit more, make them a little bit more like useful.
Yeah, and mind you, the high impacts are the 360 RPM auto rifles. So that would include stuff like, I'm trying to think, what 360 RPM auto rifles do I have?
That's what I'm trying to remember is what exactly the 360s were.
Because I know I own I think it's the legendary Arc one. I'm trying to remember what the hell the name of it is.
I mean,
My Hungry just collecting dust. Yeah, pretty much. But they also increase the base stability stat of all of them. Depending on the weapon, numerically, this may seem like a small change, but it noticeably changes the feels of the weapon, which is nice because the high impacts do, because they do have higher bullet damage individually.
yeah,
Their stability was a lot worse than the the 450s and the 600s.
yeah,
I'm honestly still gonna prefer the 450s and the 600s. I mean, let's be real here, Danny. Gnawing Hunger is too fucking good at what it does.
it really is.
Gnawing Hunger is
So
too good at what it does.
yeah,
Hard Light is always gonna be good. Just because match game exists. And Chroma Rush is a phenomenal meme.
yep. And 360s are the archetype of false promises.
That's what it
And
was.
yeah,
So that's exciting because I actually like False Promises because it's got a good perk roll. Like False Promises has a good perk roll because it rolls with
yeah,
several of the kill clips and several stability perks. The issue is that why would I use it when Gnawing Hunger exists?
yeah. There's just like no reason to use it.
Yeah. So it is
Also,
what it
apparently,
is.
Sweet Business is 360 when it starts.
I don't think that counts, does it?
It's Cerberus, Sweet Business.
Wait, Cerberus?
Yeah, Cerberus is 360.
Oh my god, that's actually hysterical. Wow, I might actually have to pull out Cerberus. That gun is fun, man. That gun is fun.
So that'll be a fun one.
Yeah. Moving on to the lightweight bows. There's a lot of numbers here.
Yeah, this one was a lot. Cause like, as I said, the lightweight bows kind of fell behind their counterparts. So they've reduced the draw time by 5%, which is nice.
Good.
They've increased the perfect draw window, which is very nice.
Yeah, and they increased the time from the low end to the high end.
Yep.
Which is
That's significant.
yeah, that is very, very good. Because kind of the whole point of lightweight bows is the fact that they're supposed to be fairly rapid firing.
Yeah.
But you need to be able to hold your shots to try and hit crits. Because otherwise, lightweight bows are kind of useless pretty much for the most part.
Sort of, but they were still better than scouts.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not even closely. They were just completely better.
Cryptic already has the thumbnail done, by the way.
Nice.
Hand cannons. Specifically, they fixed Dire Promise's zoom stat, so it got changed to 13. It's back to 14 again. Okay.
Yeah, that was the only change for hand cannons, which, fine.
Yeah, I mean, I use the Dire Promise, so I'm like, whatever. Glaives. Okay, you've got to explain this one to me here, Danny.
This one, I love so much. Because you know how the melee on the glaive is basically just a melee in the
Yes.
game's UI? Well, they're making it work with exotic armor pieces that buff melee.
Yeah, so feedback fence, Karnstein, and necrotic grips. Oh my
This excites me.
god. I've already seen Twitter videos of people with necrotic running around with the standard legendary glaive that you get from the Witch Queen campaign and just
Yep.
instantly nuking people.
Yeah.
I'm not excited to go into PvP with that.
PvE though,
PvE though.
it has instantly turned the glaive into an ad-killing machine.
Yeah. I mean, Karnstein
Also,
armlets with that as well is not bad because Karnstein gives you health back on melee kills, right?
yep,
Yeah. So
all your health.
yeah, and the best part about Karnstein is the fact that it is not a subclass locked exotic. It works
Yep.
on any of the subclasses, much like necrotic. Um,
And what I'm looking forward to is if it also works with something like, let's see, what is this exotic? Just so that I make absolutely sure what it is. Liar's Handshake.
oh.
If that works with Liar's Handshake with Arc 3.0, that could be really nasty for glaive damage.
Now, they specifically stated feedback fence, Karnstein, and necrotic, so I don't know. Because they didn't say
Yep.
examples would be these. They didn't specifically
Yeah.
state that, so that's going to require a little bit of testing.
Yep.
I guarantee you we'll probably see a Fallout Plays video about that in the future.
Also, I know a little bit later in this they made Fallout's Day.
Yes,
Which
I
something
saw
they
that, and I'm
talked
very
about.
excited to get to it. We'll get to that in a moment. Also, and that is the reason why he's doing a 10-hour stream of Gambit right now.
Yep.
Breach grenade launchers. This was an interesting change that was
Yeah.
I'm low-key kind of excited to see.
So yeah, removing concussion grenades because blinding grenades are the better option. Yes. They do the same thing, but blinding grenades are just better.
Yeah, and they can no longer roll in the magazine slot. So I guess they'll roll as like a secondary. Are they just removing the perk overall, or are they just moving it to a different slot?
They're just moving it to a different slot.
So that means you could technically have blinding grenades and concussion grenades at the same time.
Well, they've removed concussion grenades. That perk is just gone from breach grenade launchers.
Oh, okay. So they're just flat out just yeeted it
Yeah.
out of existence. Okay.
They are trimming the perk pool for weapons.
Yeah. And then the interesting one is heavy grenade launchers, which they buffed the damage versus all majors and above by roughly about 10%. And I love how they put it in fucking parentheses, excluding Parasite, which does not need to do more damage.
It is true.
Parasite does so much damage.
However, I know exactly what this is going to do because if it's all heavy grenade launchers, welcome back, Anarchy.
Oh my god. Oh no. I'm gonna see so many arc trip mines everywhere. Jesus.
Like Arc 3.0, Anarchy returns. It's all coming together.
Now, if they could only just make Salvation's grip actually worth the fucking time and effort that it took for us to acquire it.
It's probably not.
God, it's so bad. It's so bad. Why is Salvation's grip so bad? Fuck.
I mean, it has a use. You use Salvation's grip to platform to get to places to get out of the map. That's all you use it for.
Otherwise, it is flat out fucking useless.
It's so bad.
All right, going over the weapon pools. They updated the perk pools for Deers of Eternity weapons and added an origin tree. They also addressed an issue where playlist weapons, Crucible, Gambit, and Strike, weren't randomizing individual perk column counts correctly based on number of resets. That's really good. That's really good. That was because I know that a lot of people were kind of angry about that because of the Grandmaster strike last week. Because I think it was
Yeah.
it was Arms Dealer that people were trying to get what was the weapon for that?
I can't remember.
It was that arc gun. I think it was the fusion rifle. The plug. Oh, the plug +1.
Oh, the plug. Yeah.
Yeah, the plug. And I know people were trying to get the plug, the Adept plug, because they said that it would not be coming back after this. So once you got it,
Yep.
you got it. At least that's what I heard on Twitter.
I believe that is one of the weapons that's getting rotated out.
Yeah. So, perks. Going off of Gambit and Iron Banner. The Gambit and Iron Banner origin traits were too specific to be generally useful, so they've both been redesigned. So, the Gambit origin trait, Invader Tracker, it has now been renamed to Gun and Run. Redesigned functionality to give a sprint speed increase on multi-kills.
Much more useful.
Yeah, for the most part, it's not bad. Skulking Wolf, the Iron Banner origin trait, redesigned to activate on kills while at low health, so it will work in all PvP now. Oh, that's fucking terrifying. That's actually fucking terrifying. What the fuck was the hand cannon? What's that hand cannon's name?
I can never remember it.
Yeah, but it's the solar hand cannon. That just got even more disgusting now.
Like, at least it's useful outside of Iron Banner.
I mean, it's weird the fact that the Iron Banner gear is only good in Iron Banner. So, it is what it is. Ambitious Assassin got a change. It has fallen behind perks with similar functionalities, such as Overflow. We've adjusted this to have a higher potential than before. They increased the magazine overflow from 10 to 20% per kill on primary weapons only. Special and heavy weapons are still 10%. They increased the overflow cap from 50% to 150%. That is a very interesting change.
I am okay with this.
There's a lot of guns that use Ambitious Assassin as just like a secondary perk. So, primarily, I see it a lot on grenade launchers, as a matter of fact.
Which, that's not getting changed how it works on those. However, primary weapons, that could be pretty nice.
Yeah. So, it's very interesting. Wellspring had an internal cooldown to prevent it from activating too frequently. We no longer feel this is needed. The Wellspring cooldown has been removed, allowing for rocket launchers and grenade launchers to return more ability energy when defeating groups with a single shot. That's fucking hysterical.
Yep, since they changed how super energy is generated, it's a nice change.
Yeah, because it means that it's no longer capped, so it's a lot easier. Yep. So it's actually useful now. Perpetual motion was triggering frequently enough to be annoying, so we disabled audio/visual feedback and perk activation.
Yeah. Essentially, every time you move, it's active.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not really too pressed about it. I mean, I like perpetual motion. I think that it's a pretty good, perk to just run on the newer guns. Just because it just adds just so many just base stats. Stability and handling is really good for it.
It is very nice that they have removed the audio visual from it because it did stay on the screen constantly.
But how am I supposed to get my 20 bonuses on my left side screen on Twitter posts?
They only show you like 3.
Did you see the one, Dani, that happened like this week where someone had like 10 buffs at once?
I mean, it's pretty easy to do. You just,
I thought it was fucking hysterical.
It's funny.
Lead from Gold got changed. It was Lead from Gold wasn't respecting the functionality of splitting the special ammo picked up when 2 special weapons were equipped. So, it now gives the correct amount of ammo to each weapon when 2 special weapons are equipped. That's more of like, I guess, a bug than anything else, but that's nice.
Yeah, you remember how they mentioned the thing about too much heavy ammo dropping with double special?
Yeah.
This is why.
Yeah.
Because you have one special that has lead from gold, and you're picking up a more special ammo from the heavy ammo, which is dropping more frequently.
Yeah, it makes the heavy scavengers even more valuable. It made the heavy scavengers even more valuable because of that.
Yep.
Because you didn't need to run special ammo pickup. Because fuck it, lead from gold is free. It's one of the reasons why overflow on certain guns was also good. Like for example, I have overflow on my Dire Promise, so I get a clip of 22 shots in a Dire Promise clip.
Yep.
Like that's fucking dumb. Concussion grenades can no longer roll on breach grenade launchers. We already saw that. Viced Stinger was intended to grant ammo on weapons that support it and charge/draw time on bows only. This was inadvertently applying to linear fusion rifles as well, making it a little too strong for an origin trade on them. So they fixed a bug where it was applying a charge time reduction to linear fusion rifles, and it will correctly only refill the magazine from reserves when it triggers on these weapons. That's
Which,
really fucking good.
yep.
Because
I
that
like
was
that
really
better
fucking
than the charge
annoying.
time.
And then Zen Moment. Zen Moment has always had a description that confused players. Particle Repeater too. Their descriptions have been updated to say what they actually do. I mean, Zen Moment literally just increases stability as you get kills. Or as you fire.
As you do damage.
Yeah. Right. So, like, on guns that fire several bullets, like, for example, I have Annoying Hunger with Zen Moment and Multi-Kill Clip. Really good. Really fucking good.
It is also really, really good on pulse rifles.
Oh, yeah, because of the burst. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
Yep, because you hit all 3 shots and you're basically at max Zen Moment there.
Yep.
Which, again, pulse rifles basically need as much of a buff as they can get because they're still fucking garbage.
Like, every pulse is just not Outbreak.
Pretty much. Or No Time to Explain. I've been seeing a lot of that in PvP lately, and I'm not a fan.
It's cracked PvP. It is actually kind of disgusting.
Yeah, when you proc the Masterwork perk, it's gross. That bonus damage, I saw somebody proc the No Time to Explain with a soul and arc soul. Oh my god, that shit is gross. It is a one-tap.
Yeah.
It is not okay. It one-taps like whole fields of people because of how the Arc Soul and Void Soul work.
It is disgusting.
Alright, now we get into the most joyous part of this section. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to the exotics. Woo! Oh.
This is the spicy part of this job.
So, exotics, buffs. We've added anti-champion functionality to several weapons with the goal of giving more options for each champion type. Split across weapon slot and ammo type, we expect to do this from time to time in future as well. So, to Le Monarch, they added intrinsic overload to its charged poison arrows. They added intrinsic overload to Thunderlord. They added intrinsic unstoppable to the explosions on Malfeasance, and they added plus 25 to the base airborne effectiveness stat, increasing it from 28 to 53, to match other precision hand cannons on the intrinsic bonus.
That's insane.
That is disgusting. That's actually going to take Malfeasance to top tier in Gambit. Like, straight up. That is disgustingly strong.
Free unstoppable and 53 airborne effectiveness.
Like, I think that's actually one of, like, that actually makes Malfeasance, like, viable again.
It's really strong.
Yeah. Especially if you're doing, because Malfeasance, the way that it works, it's always active in Gambit, because it does bonus damage to invaders, but it also does bonus damage to Taken. Which we've been seeing a lot of recently in the Nightfalls. So, if you've got a Malfeasance, now is your time to get ready to use it and level it up. That is disgusting. And then we get, Dani, to my favorite buff out of this entire list.
This might be the best change of this TWAP.
Ladies and gentlemen, Wishender got a buff! Yeah!
Wishender getting intrinsic anti-barrier plus hitting targets 3 times instead of 2 times.
They increased damage versus champions, majors, and mini bosses by 10%, and they decreased the draw time by 8 milliseconds.
Wishender is getting an all-around
Yes!
buff.
Oh my god, Wishender, my boy! You're my boy, Blue!
Like, Wishender actually went from where it sits to probably the best bow in the game.
Wishender
with one change.
Went from F tier to S rank in this single buff. Because they didn't just add anti-barrier. They added more damage and they added bonus hits. That's fucking disgusting.
Like, this is almost bringing it to the time when it was bugged and it was doing multiple damage numbers as it passed through targets.
Like, this is huge. Like, this is actually insane. I'm actually really tempted to bring out Wishender again now. Like Wishender.
Once this change goes live, Wishender is staying on my inventory.
Absolutely.
Like, it's staying on me.
I think Wishender, wholeheartedly, this may be a hot take, Dani. I think Wishender actually hard contests Arbalest now for its value.
Yeah, it absolutely does, because unlike Arbalest, you don't need to pick up ammo for Wishender.
That's right, because it's
It has infinite ammo.
Yeah, because it's a primary bow. It's a primary ammo bow that already hits like a truck, I want to add. Like, Wishender's numbers with this buff, I'm actually pretty sure it contents again. Like, it actually does almost the same amount of damage as Leviathan's Breath now.
The only thing that Arbalest has over Wishender is that it can buff its own damage when you break a barrier, but yeah.
I genuinely think that's fine. Because again, Arbalest will always be good, just because
Especially
of the way that its perks are set up. But Wishender is disgusting now.
It's so much more versatile.
Yeah. And you know what the crazy part is? Because Wishender gets a natural buff against Taken.
Yep.
So, the Corrupted Tachyon Strike is about to eat the fattest of dicks.
There are so many things that's going to be really good for, including Gambit.
Yeah, this actually brings me so much joy. Like, this Wishender buff is absolutely phenomenal. Hands down, this is the best buff out of the entirety of the TWAB.
And there's some really good buffs in this.
Yeah, like La Monarch and Thunderlord, my bad, getting Overload intrinsic, disgusting. Malfeasance getting Unstoppable, phenomenal. Because it means that I can finally go back and I can do my hand cannon only Nightfall runs.
Yep.
Tiku's is getting a buff. It got a free small buff because it is a lightweight bow, so it did get the bonus damage change to mobs, which made 0 sense because it already nuked mobs.
And that decreased draw time.
Yeah, from 612 to 580, which actually brings it in line with almost, I'm pretty sure, every single special or every single like legendary bow now.
Yep.
Like, that's
also, like, just the fact that is a significant decrease in draw time.
Yeah. That's what, a 32 draw time speed decrease, that's disgusting.
Considering like how fast it fired already,
Yeah.
yes.
You're about to be machine gunning Tikus. And I am 100% here for it. Uh, Legend of Accurious is getting a buff. It has fallen behind other heavy short-range weapons, and it warrants a buff. The Catalyst now grants the Trench Barrel perk in addition to its other effects, and different versions of the exotic paired legendary weapons didn't have matching stats, so we have brought them up to parity.
I am very, very excited that Accurious is getting Trench Barrel.
So for
'Cause they
those of
just
for
buffed
so for
shotgun
those
in
of us that
PvE.
don't know exactly what trench barrel is, because we're not dirty shotgun users, Dani, would you please explain to me what trench barrel does again?
So what Trench Barrel does is if you melee something, you get a damage buff.
It's
It's
basically
like
what's that other melee perk? Swashbuckler. It's basically
it's
swashbuckler.
it's Swashbuckler except you don't have to kill something. It's not as strong as Swashbuckler, but you just have to punch something and you get like 3 shots.
This is actually a really nice change because I mean, when was the last time you pulled out Legend of Accurious?
It's been a while.
Exactly. So that's a nice change. Oh shit, Legend got a good buff. Yeah, it's a solid buff. Callus Mini Tool got a buff, increased the airborne effectiveness from 23 to 28 to match Mida Multi Tool, and then Mida got a buff to increase the zoom from 13 to 14 to match Callus Mini Tool. So they're basically just bringing them in line with each other, so they're kind of you can swap them in and out freely, and it's not going to feel nearly as bad. Which is nice. It's nice to see.
The next 2 changes.
And I'm going to scroll slowly for these.
Because as you see, sweet business. Increased airborne effectiveness from 27 to 32.
And Drang Baroque version got an increased airborne effectiveness from 21 to 23 to match standard Drang. I am just seeing the meme of, I don't know if you've watched MP edits, Dani, of the auto rifle Season of the Worthy video, where he goes as a Heat Rises Warlock, pulls up, and the AC-130 kill streak from Modern Warfare shows up and just starts blasting people in PvP with it.
Yep.
Oh, I'm gonna have so much fun.
It's such a good change.
It is a very good change. These are, again, solid buffs across the board. Fighting Lion is getting a buff. Season 17's 5% damage buff was rolled back as part of a fix for a larger bug. This is being reintroduced and increased. It's now receiving the intended buff, but it's no longer 5%, it is now 8%. And it increased the grace time for the instant reload effect of Thin the Herd from 5 to 6 seconds. Really solid buff.
Yep.
Like
8%, pretty noticeable.
Yeah. Like, that's several hundred damage. Like, that's insane. Like,
Which, I mean, it's infinite ammo as well.
Yeah, like, that's disgusting. Like, that's very... I mean, Fighting Lion kind of also, as an exotic grenade launcher, kind of fell behind. Because there were so many other grenade launchers that just did its job, but better. Right?
AKA, as soon as Bungie introduced ignition code and gave it fucking slide shot.
Yep.
Like, oh yeah, I don't ever need to reload. I just slide.
Yeah, which everybody can do. And now we get into the reworks.
This is fun.
So, the reworks. And we get this wonderful little picture of exactly, Dani, what is that I'm looking at?
That is, correctly, I believe that is the exotic from VOW. do not have that.
Haven't gotten to run Val, so neither do
Drop
I.
rate is very low.
And we got a sizable change to Lord of Wolves. Uh, Lord of Wolves has long been a thorn in the side of PvP players, especially when paired with certain exotic armor pieces. We have changed the
Yes.
amount of ammo it starts with and reduced the damage dealt to players. This is part one of a larger rework aimed at making it a more viable PvE exotic without increasing its effectiveness in PvP. So they decreased the starting ammo in PvP from 15 to 10.
Good.
PvE is unchanged. That's good to know. Reduce the burst size, shots fired per trigger pull, from 10 to 5 shots when release the wolves is active. They reduced the burst delay, the time between bursts, by 60% when release the wolves is active. They decreased the Lord of Wolves base damage by roughly about 20%. It now deals 35 per shot to the body in PvP and 44 per shot with release the wolves active. And they increased the damage in PvP by 20% to compensate.
Lord of Wolves being buffed by 20% in PvE is kind of disgusting.
If they ever make more shotgun like anti-champion mods, I think I would pull out Lord of Wolves.
I don't even know if it's gonna need a champion mod. If Solar Burn's active, it might just outright kill a champion before they can activate their thing.
You got a point about that. Oh my god, if it gets Scorch and Ignition, oh fuck me. Oh god, that's terrifying. That's
Lord of
actually
Wolves,
fucking
like,
terrifying.
you gotta remember, this is an extra 20% damage on top of the recent PvE damage buff to shotguns.
Jesus,
It's kind of nasty.
that's terrifying. Dead Man's Tail is getting a change here.
Yep.
Dead Man's Tail, the cranial spike perk, was causing issues with unintended damage scalers against players and generally felt unpredictable both to use and to fight against. It also wasn't quite landing the hip-firing cowboy rifle fantasy as strongly as we wanted to, so we reworked it to lean more into fast-firing hip-fire. They changed Cranial Spike's effects. Cranial Spike no longer buffs damage versus players. Instead, it grants increased reload, aim assist, and range per stack. It still grants the additional damage versus PvE combatants. And upon reaching max stats of Cranial Spike, the Catalyst will now increase hipfire RPM by 50, i.e., it will fire at 180 RPM, but will deal reduced damage per bullet up to a 20% decrease. I'm going to be honest, I don't know how I like this.
Yep. There is the change.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I'm actually as big of a fan of this.
It's like,
I mean, I get it. They wanted to make it a little bit more viable, and fix some of the bugs. But the whole point of the cranial spike perk was the fact that if you hit several headshots in a row, you were rewarded with a massive damage buff. Like that's
Yep.
the point of that's was literally the point of DMT. Right, and the fact that they got rid of that, I don't know if I really like that.
It's like, it's an interesting decision.
Yeah, because it's mostly, it takes it out of the PvP pool now, for the most part, because it still does the additional damage in PvE, but I'm not a complete fan of, because here's the thing, right? DMT was one of my standard go-tos for PvP, right? Like, I used to, like, Dani, when we did trials the very first time, I ran DMT Gnawing Hunger. Like, that was my loadout. And I really am not a fan of this. Because the damage nerf for PvE or PvP actually makes it not as good anymore in PvP.
Yeah. It puts it behind legendary scout rifles, basically.
Yeah, like I'd rather just run Night Watch now. Like it's honestly super sad to see. Because it means that now I'm gonna go back to playing with running Crimson or Forerunner, which I mean is not really that big of a deal, but the whole point of DMT was it allowed you to run a closer range weapon with a longer range weapon, right? Like
Yep.
I would run DMT and then run either a bow or an auto rifle for mid range as my energy weapon. So I don't. I'm not. I think this is the one thing about this TWAB that I'm not a fan of, wholeheartedly. I don't think I'm a complete fan of this one.
They basically just put it in line with the other scout rifles that they have just buffed.
Right. Which again, I'm not a fan of. Like it's an exotic scout. It needs to be a little bit better than the legendaries.
Yep.
But we're gonna move on before I cry. Collective obligation.
That's the pulse rifle.
This is the pulse rifle from Val, correct?
No, yeah.
We are aiming to make the exotic perk effects easier to activate and more effective in PvE. So, Dani, you know exactly what this does, what collective obligation does. So, if you please would not mind explaining exactly what all of these changes are.
Basically, when they reworked Void, they had the different effects, the weaken, the volatile rounds, and so on and so forth. Basically, what this gun does is when you shoot a target that's affected by those, it takes that ability, and for I think the next clip or the next few seconds, you can fire that ability. So it basically just gives it those types of rounds.
Okay. So, what they're changing the collective obligation. They're increasing they increased the Void Leech timer to 15 seconds in PvE. PvP is going to remain at 10 seconds. They removed the cooldown on collective obligation. They added a 20% damage bonus against PvE combatants only while Void Leech is active. It takes less hits to fully charge Void Leech. Kills against debuff targets instantly charge Void Leech. Void Leech is also instantly charged when your character is affected by Void debuffs. However, it does not work if hitting yourself with your own suppressor grenade, which kind of sucks. And then it fixed a bug where Umbral Sustenance was activating with non-Void overshields. So, I don't own the gun. I don't really have thoughts about this.
Yeah. It's like...
It's kind of a weird change.
Don't think people are going to use it more.
Don't really think they're going to use it less either. I think it's going to keep roughly about the same usage rate.
Yeah, it's really niche, and it just depends on if you actually got the RNG to get the gun.
Yeah. Now, we're going to move into the armor. And what, Dani, am I looking at right now?
That is the Oculus. It has been quite the topic of debate since the stat rework, where resilience became like the go-to stat.
Yes. So, in update 6.2.0.1, more on this version, more on this in-version update in the player support section, we will be reducing the effectiveness of damage resistance used by Oculus and Whisper of Chains in PvP. The PvE damage resistance is unchanged. So, Tier 1 is no longer 10%, it is 2.5. Tier 2 is 15%, takes it from 15 to 5%. Tier 3 takes it from 20 to 7.5%, and Tier 4 takes it from 25 to 10%. This is a massive change.
Oh, yeah.
They nerfed the ever-living shit out of this in PvP.
Because they needed to. It was genuinely a problem.
Yeah, because it meant that you could run Tier 4 resistance, but have Tier 8 resistance, technically.
Yep.
So, it's nice to see, because I know this is a Hunter one, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So, Hunters, delete this from your account right now. Do it. And this is what Fallout Plays was excited about. Because Oculus was plaguing top tier PvP.
There's that, and then there's also the literal, next change.
Things we are looking at addressing in the future. Season 18 mid-season patch or Season 19. Whoo! There's a lot. Ah, going
Literally the first change.
reducing
Fallout's like,
yeah, reducing shotgun spread randomness.
his shotgun testing is just like, finally, consistency.
Uh I still hate shotguns. I still think that they're broken in PvP. I still think they need a nerf.
Absolutely in PvP. However, now they're going to be more consistent. So there'll be less random, oh, I got killed from this far randomly, instead of, yeah, no, I got killed from that far, because it doesn't spread.
Yeah. They reduced bow swapping effectiveness. That's kind of interesting.
That definitely makes me think that Anarchy is going to be really strong.
Yeah. They are increasing trace rifle ease of use.
That one I'm interested in.
Yeah. I mean, if they buff it anymore, like, already Prometheus Lens and Age Receptor are already top tier right now. So that's interesting. They're also introducing a full auto setting, which they kind of already have a version of that. So for those of you that don't know, if you have pulse rifles, you can get the full auto retrofit mod and insert
Yep.
it into that, and it basically turns the pulse rifle into a miniature auto rifle, which is interesting. So I'm interested to see exactly what they're going to be adding for the full auto setting. Into what guns?
Will be nice to see.
Yeah.
The next change, yes.
Reducing the ability of snipers to shoot through flinch in PvP. Thank fucking God. I'm very excited about that. Because I know snipers are a massive problem in PvP, specifically on mouse and keyboard slash PC. So seeing that is going to be really, really nice. Examining some small targeted balance changes to certain PvP outliers, for example, pulse rifles with out-of-band effectiveness, high-impact scout rifle ease of use, and precision fusion rifle ease of use. Along with that, they're also going to be allowing glaive interactions with some exotic armors that buff melees, which we already fixed on. They are fixing glaive hit detection.
Yes.
Uh,
It does need that.
They are reworking some enhanced perks, and they are folding spec mods into base perks now.
Yep.
So
This is something they mentioned a little bit somewhere else, which I think it was maybe on Twitter, but you know the Dragonfly spec, Rampage spec, and I forget the other one, but those spec mods,
yes,
they are getting rid of those and just putting that into the perk itself. So they are buffing Dragonfly and Rampage, extending their timers. And, well,
they're probably
extending
going to
the
be
timer,
nerfing the overall damage though of them.
I mean, to be fair, like, Rampage spec doesn't increase the damage, it just increases the duration.
Right, but
And
because of
Dragonfly spec is the only one that gives extra damage.
right, but I have a feeling that they're gonna nerf them simply because now you can put another mod in that slot instead.
Possibly, but I'm gonna assume that they're not going to, because the only increased damage mod you can get is for PvE. So it wouldn't be an issue in PvP.
That is fair. I mean, that does make a little bit more sense, and that now that you say that, that does. Yeah, no, okay, I can agree with that now.
Also, significantly increases the value of Dragonfly and Rampage.
Yeah. So that
So,
means that you can actually run other mods with them now, because chances
yep.
are you already ran the specs with those guns anyways.
So now you can finally have, instead of having to choose between Rampage spec and Minor spec, for ad clearing weapons, you can have both.
That's really nice. Because I have Rampage spec on one of my Gnawing Hungers, because I have like 3 of them that I actively use. Um, so that'll
Yeah.
be a nice change.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait to see what they do in the future. The player support team reporting the reports. RIP update 4.2.0. F.
This is something I'm also excited about.
Our player support team is ready to go and here to share some information about a few things they have on their radar. Can we also just say a super big thank you to the player support team because honestly, there's some pretty cool cats. Here is the highlighted C, and I'm going to go ahead and click it. This is safe to click, right, Dani?
Yep. All of the little like links and stuff that are included in the TWAB should be safe to
Rainbow Disco Kitty! Yay! Alright, I gotta scroll back through all this. Alright, so the Destiny 2 patch number update. Starting on August 23rd on the showcase, Destiny 2 patch numbers will be changing for all patches going forward, with update 6.2.0 being released for Season 18. For context, Destiny's launch was known as Update 1.0.0, and the Taken King was 2.0.0. Work began on Destiny 2 before Rise of Iron was created, so to keep all numbers moving forward, Destiny 2's launch was internally known as 3.0.0. Every big expansion added the update number since, with the Witch Queen internally known as Update 6.0.0. To help alleviate internal confusion regarding what the public-facing patch numbers are, and to bring our internal and external patch numbers into parity, we are making this change for all patch numbers moving forward.
Yeah, essentially meaning that the developers and the community are on the same page with what update we're on.
I am sad that we will no longer get patch update 4.2.0. Sag. But now that means that we can get 6.9.2 or 6.9.4.2.0. Let's go! We will be showcasing that on that episode. Text chat. As of last week, text chat has been enabled across all platforms. God, why was that a bug?
That being an issue is kind of funny and reminds me of a few things that have happened in the past where you can overload servers by putting too many words in.
Who the fuck uses the text chat anyways? Just use Discord. Bruh. Claim your in-game rewards. Players should make sure to claim all engrams and other rewards before the new season begins. Any rewards not claimed from ritual vendors, Savala, Shax, Drifter, and Saint 14 will be removed at the beginning of the next season. Nothing new. We all know this.
Yeah.
Known issues. Here is our known issues stuff. Shoot to Loot. This is the movie of the week. By who is this?
Now, the first movie of the week is a Grasp of Avarice violin, guitar, piano cover.
That is actually very interesting. I will actually listen to that off stream, most likely. But yeah, I mean, the Destiny community is some of the most creative members of any community that I've ever seen. Along with that, all the players on Twitter posted, "This is why I use Shoot to Loot."
It's very nice. It's satisfying. It is so satisfying.
Let me see this. Hold on. And I'm going to zoom in on this real quick so it's a little bit easier to see. Also, fuck Twitter doing this in like 480p.
Right? Twitter compression. Shoot to Loot is such a satisfying perk.
Actually shot an ammo brick before it fell off the map.
And the best part is, the way that Shoot to Loot works is it reloads all of your guns.
That's gross. Don't Artist of the Week by Tihan Art. Is that Telesto?
That is Telesto, yes.
Wait a second. Oh my god. That is a great meme.
It is accurate. The amount of time that gun has broken everything.
That is phenomenal. Jamie Purple Art posted Garden of Salvation. Garden of Salvation is done in my biggest artwork I've ever done. And it's a picture of some of their squad. Really beautiful artwork. I like the structural line base for it. Really, really
It's
solid.
really good.
And ta-da! This week's TWAB means we only have one more TWAB before the season ends, and then we jump into our showcase on August 23rd. We do want to remind you that we are starting the vote for your exotic ornament on August 16th, so please go check out last week's TWAB. For those of you that missed that, it is going to be between Arbalist, Sweet Business, and Rat King.
And also, at the time of this recording, that's today.
Where do we go vote, by the way?
That is a great question.
And that is it for the TWAB.
Let me see if I...
But yeah. Wow. Very good TWAB.
This is the meat of the TWABs. Next one, we'll probably get a little sneak peek at Arc.
Yeah. Now, do you know if these sandbox changes are going live today?
They are not going live today.
Okay, so I'm going to have to wait till Season 18 to finally use Wish Ender. Big Sag. My hunter is so happy for the bow changes. Yeah, Buddha, you got... for those of you that don't know, Buddha, one of our other buddies, is a hunter bow player. He uses Le Monarch like it's going out of style.
I mean, Le Monarch is really, really strong.
Yeah, now that it got overload intrinsic on its poison arrows, that's disgusting.
Even before that, it was really strong.
Yeah, the buff to Tikus, the technically double buff to Tikus is gross. And Wish Ender... God, I love me some Wish Ender.
It's gonna be really nice. Also, pretty sure the buff to the Lord of Wolves could be actually disgusting in PvE.
Oh, 100%. Now, if they would only just make hand cannons, all hand cannons, whether they're exotic or legendary, just intrinsically just have unstoppable. Please, Bungie, for the love of God. Nobody likes using anything that's unstoppable other than hand cannons. Stop it.
Or, I mean, you could have, you probably could have stopped it just like unstoppable. Nobody likes using unstoppable.
Yeah, because you only get like, what, 2 champions, maybe one unstoppable, and chances are, they're probably fucking ogres.
Yeah. Though unstoppable glaive is kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of memes with it, especially because most people run unrelenting on their glaives anyways.
Yep.
So killing the ogre just gave you like a massive health regain. So, but Jesus, absolutely disgusting TWAB. I think the highlight has to be the Wish Ender, Le Monarch, and Thunderlord buffs. The low end, I think, is the DMT. The DMT nerf in PvP is, I'm going to be honest, I really don't like it. I think that it basically knocked DMT out of PvP use.
Considering that, like, PvP is still predominantly pulse and shotgun.
Yeah, like DMT was the one thing that people could use to combat pulse because you had a slightly better range. But now that it got nerfed damage-wise, it's useless at this point.
Yeah, it will fall off.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be taken down. I think it's going to be taken down one too many pegs in PvP. PvE, it's still going to be useful. But PvP, I will no longer be using it whenever you and I do trials.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, can we talk about something for a minute before we end the Trials of Casuals podcast?
Yeah.
I don't know, Danny, if you've been seeing it, but a lot of people having a really bad take about the Trials pool, about the Flawless pool, and the
I
fact
had
of
not seen this one.
so basically, long story short, players are pissed that that they said Trials has been catered so much more to casuals uh, than ever before. And they're saying that going flawless needs to be this prestigious event, right? And that they should not have a separate flawless pool. Not only do I think that that is a hot take, that is a bad fucking take. Um, because there are players who have been playing for years that have still never been able to go flawless. For example, Dani and I have played trials 3 times now together with a squad, and we've rotated Buddha and Rogue in and out. And never once have we been flawless.
Yep.
Like, I'm sorry, but that is a bad take. If you have been, like, so there's several reasons why they made a flawless pool. Number one, they cannot stop cheaters in PC. So what they did was they made the flawless pool to help combat that, because if you went flawless in trials as a cheater, you only fought against other flawless players. And chances are, probably a lot of them were also cheaters. So, like, there you go. Cheaters v. cheaters now. Number two.
Or just players that are just outright better.
Yeah, number two, which leads into my second part, right? Flawless players should only be fighting other flawless players, right? Because
Yep.
you've already been flawless once. You already have the triumph, right? There are people who have been playing for years that have not been flawless. But somebody could argue, oh, but you could just go on LFG and find someone to carry you. I don't want to do that. That's number one. That's bullshit. You shouldn't have to have somebody carry you. Like, Dani and I are not bad players. Like, do you remember, Dani, the second time we did trials? We did trials, and I literally carried our team through the first 4 wins by getting several team wipes.
Yep.
Neither one of us are bad players. But the fact that neither one of us has ever been flawless is dumb.
Like, and if they're gonna have that, like, the logic that going flawless has to be this big grand event thing, carries should be disqualified by that regard.
Yeah, like, if you've already been flawless, you shouldn't get to play trials for the rest of the season.
If they want to keep going that way, it's just like solo or nothing, no squads.
Yeah, like, it's super unfun, right? And the fact that and the fact that the flawless pool does not count people. If 2 of your members have not been flawless, but 1 person has, it will still put you in the pool for the non-flawless, which is bullshit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, like, anybody that states that the flawless pool should be removed and that everybody should be in the same pool, I'm sorry. That is a bad take. It does not cater to casuals. It caters to the people who have never been given the chance to go flawless. And even then, it still has an issue. Like, if 1 person on your team has been flawless, you should automatically be put into the flawless pool for that season. Now, mind you, I am saying specifically for that season, because remember, the Trials Triumph is one of the gilded triumphs, which means you can gild it over several seasons.
Yep.
So I think at the end of every season, or technically end of every season, beginning of every new season, they should reset it. So that way players that do want to gild their, their flawless triumphs, they can. And they can be sweaty at the beginning of the season, get their guilds, and be done with it. I'm fine with that. Because you know what? Seasons tend to last 3 to 4 months. You know what I don't have to do? Play trials the first month it's out.
Like,
I'm okay with that. I have other content to make.
The best thing that they could do for it would be to remove the pool reset every weekend.
Agreed.
And just, like, if you go flawless once, you're stuck in the flawless pool for the rest of the season.
Agreed. I think that would make a healthy change. And for teams of 3, right? If one person went flawless but 2 other people have not, you are still put into the flawless pool.
Yep.
If anybody is going flawless, the entirety of the team should get to go flawless at the same time. It is unfair to the casual community who has never once gotten to go flawless. Again, Dani and I have been playing Destiny. Well, let's be real. I mean, you and I played Destiny 1, Dani.
Yep.
And you and I started on Destiny 2. Now, mind you, I missed a lot while I was in college, so I did not get to play past Red War. Because I was basically out from Season 2 to Season of Arrivals.
Yeah.
I did not get to play basically anything in between there because I was in college and I was too busy and I wasn't a content creator at that point. So, yeah. And neither one of us has ever been flawless. Because you've been even more active than I have. So.
And I almost carried friends to flawless in D1. We got cut short at the end.
Yeah. So, I just want to make that very clear. Like, for those of you people that think that Trials is catered to casuals, it's not. It's catered to people. It's catered to people who abuse the bug, and the fact that one flawless member can carry 2 non-flawless to a flawless. It is catered to those people. It is not catered to casuals. It is catered to people who hire people to carry them.
Trials exists for the, like, roughly, like, 2% of the community that is PvP tryhards.
Yeah. Like, so the fact that you think that Trials is catered to casuals is not only a hot take, it is a bad take, and you should feel bad about it. BD says, D1 Year 1 with thousands of hours in D1 and T2, and still no flawless. Trials is for the toxic, sweaty people. Right, but here's the thing, right? If Dani and I play in the middle of the season, when the majority of the sweaty people have already been flawless, so they should automatically been put into the flawless pool, we should have a better chance to go flawless. Like, that's the whole point of having trials over the course, several times over the course of a season, is to allow the sweat lords to get their flawless first, so that way we don't have to deal with them.
But because it resets the pool every weekend, yeah, that does not happen.
Yeah, it's unfun, and it causes us pain. I mean, shit, Dani, on our 3rd run, we were flawless until the 5th game.
Yep.
And then we were stuck on our 5th win for 6 straight matches. Because 5 of those 6 matches went to the lighthouse.
Yep. And then there's also, like, that high chance of, oh, you're just starting, you're playing your first game. Oh, the team you were playing went to the lighthouse.
Again, makes 0 sense. Destiny has a big enough community that participates in trials. That should not happen. If you're on your 5th win, you should only be playing against people on their 5th win. There's a reason why they have a trials card that specifically states, hey, by the way, if you lose a match, it's okay. You still get a freebie.
Yep.
Like, they literally have that card for a reason. Like, bruh. Makes zero sense.
Yep.
Anyways, I've gone on long enough of a rant. We should go ahead and load up D2. And with that being said, chat, and to YouTube, here is, and I forgot to do it again in the middle of the episode. Fuck. YouTube, put in the comments below. What do you think is your favorite exotic buff from this TWAB, and why is it Wishender? Again, thank you guys so much for joining us. Dani and I have been talking immensely about our Trials of Casuals podcast. It is slowly getting views on YouTube. Please go watch it. Give us views on that. And put an essay down in the comments to let us know how much you loved it. With that being said, Dani, where can they find your sexy ass?
You can find me here on Twitch and also on YouTube. The same name. Just look for this face, basically.
Look for the Void Cat.
Yeah.
You can also find me on Twitch and on YouTube at Dmt Fox. You can also find me on Twitter at Dmt Fox1. Anyways, thank you guys so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. We both hope that you all have a wonderful day. And as always, good hunting, y'all.